Welcome, everybody, to the Sparda's World Podcast. I'm your host, Sparda 3G. This is actually a reboot. That's right, a reboot to the podcast. Why a reboot? Well, long time ago, I used to do the podcast. Actually, I used to do 2 episodes of a podcast every week, and it had reviews, news report, and so on. I used to do them before I started doing reviews individually. I used to do a lot of them, and then I decided to start writing some of them and then start making videos for individuals. Now I thought, maybe I should bring them back because all these craziness that's going on in the fan base, the news, everything that's happening in the anime and manga stuff. So why not reboot it and share my own opinion? So many times, there's so many moments that I have a lot to critique. And there's a lot of times I see some ridiculous amount of rant, a ridiculous amount of criticism, or anything that really ticks me off. It's not that I'm going to make this into a rant, free-for-all, Sparda 3G's podcast, but I am going to have more freedom compared to the reviews. Because in reviews, I do have them written up, and some of them, I try to censor myself as much as I can. Not to say I always swear many times, but don't be surprised if you hear me saying swear in this kind of podcast, because this is all free-for-all. This is all coming from the heart. And a lot of things from the reviews, they do come from the heart. However, I have them filter so I could understand, or more like I could give you a better reasoning on why I like this chapter or why I found this part good or bad. Trust me, there are many times I could have gone on much longer. If you look back in the old reviews, such as the very first Haikyuu chapter, I don't remember what chapter, but it was you can see it in the channel, you can see it in the channel. And when you look at it, it's like, it's very free will, it's very old school, especially I use the Windows Media Movie Maker thing. But those are good times. But the point is, I used to have more freedom with that. And sometimes I go redundancy. So that's another problem I have. Probably have this kind of problem in here as well. But we'll see what happens with my first run through. Anyway, there's so many things I love to say. There's so many critiques I would love to address. And there's a lot of things I would love to explain. However, I know you have time. I know you don't want to hear my opinion of a chapter that goes 50 minutes, 8 hours. Okay, that never happened. But, the point is, I have a lot to say. Don't think whatever you see or read or hear from a individual video is all I got to say, but it's more like a summary of all what I got to say. Trust me, if you were to be like, leave a comment, I would go into further detail. I would have give you everything I have in my mind, my heart, and tell you why I find this boring, find this dull, I find this crap, I find this amazing, incredible, the best of all best, stuff like that. But for the podcast, this will be more of like seeing what happens in a weekly basis, such as like the brand new announcement that happened in Jump Festa 2018, which we'll get to that later. The whole PV drops, the whole preview and shocking announcement. And I'm going to talk about other many things that happened this week. So that's what's going to happen with the podcast reboot. Well, more like not this week, since Sunday. Every Sunday, there's going to be a new podcast episode. And yeah, when you look at Sunday is a new week, isn't it? So more like the past week. Bottom line is, it's going to be me talking about the stuff that happened on the week. And yeah, go over what I have experienced and what I think about this and that. So yeah, this is a reboot, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I'm doing something right. I'm hoping this will stick on, last longer than the last time, because I did kind of reboot it. Not really reboot, but more like try to continue it. But there were just not that many topics I want to talk about, or not that many stuff I wanted to really have a passion to talk about, especially when I'm doing an individual. I almost wanted to bring back the reviews being back in the podcast. But, that's something that people don't have much time. But the bright side is I am going to have a timestamp for a lot of podcast episodes. So that way, if you don't care about this topic, like say, what I thought about the new Shounen Jump applications that the US market brought up, which we will talk about it later today, or anything you want to see, like you really want to know what I think about this announcement, jump right here, stuff like that. So I will leave it that for you so you can hear what I want, what you want to, the stuff you want to hear from my opinion. And I know it's funny because, like, why make a podcast about my opinion? I mean, there are people that actually likes to hear people's opinion, including myself. People wanted to ask, hey, what do you think about this chapter? Hey, what do you thought about this episode? Hey, you thought this show was really that bad? You thought this character could have been better? What do you think this, if, and that? It's so many things. So if I can find crowd that cares about my opinion, if I can find people that really like this type of things, then that's a good news on my end, as well as a good news for this podcast format. But rest assured, I'm trying to get used to this whole format again. I'm trying to get used to what people want to hear and see how this start off. Like, you could treat this as a pilot episode. So anything could happen here. Maybe this be the only time you kind of hear this type of material. Maybe the next time I'll probably try to cool down or heat up. I don't know if you really want me to go off the chain. It's up to you guys. Well, not really up to you. This is actually my opinion, but it's up to you to see kind of material you want to see from this type of podcast. So anyway, let's get on to the podcast and let's start off talking about the new Shounen Jump and what I thought about the new Shounen Jump so far. On December 17th, Shounen Jump of USA, or rather the one that's not in Japan, but the one that's marketing in US and other countries, they decided to go with a brand new format by removing the weekly Shounen Jump issue style, meaning there's no more magazine format, which is a bit bummer because I admit, I do like that satisfaction of having the issue on my hand. Literally on my hand because it's in the mobile device, which already is sad because I still miss the days where they used to release the monthly weekly Shonen Jump or monthly Shonen Jump, excuse me, but it kind of feels, it's Shonen Jump and weekly kind of ties together. Point is, they used to do that and then they went to the digital. And I remember they called it Shonen Jump Alpha. Then they just called it Shonen Jump. And now we have a brand new Shonen Jump. It's like everybody want to go new era all of a sudden. But I'm fine with that because the new era they introduced is rather pretty damn good. It's seriously good. I'm not trying to market it, but I am trying to let you. But I want to share my opinion. I want to share my opinion on why this is actually a pretty damn good thing and why it's good time to start supporting your series. If you don't have the option, because I understand some countries don't allow that. If you don't have the option, well, the only thing you can do is try to buy the volume itself or support it as much as you can any way possible. I won't try to tell you, hey, what you're doing is bad from reading piracy or anything like that. I understand, especially when there are series that has not yet to get translated by the official or not get any scanlation from the official, anything like how these weekly Shonen Jump series are lucky to have. But like the other series that I can understand that you won't get them anywhere else, trust me, there are many series out there and there's a lot of interesting series that the people has to strive for. And, Gintama is one of them. Oh, that was hard. So, and Kingdom, forget it. But again, I can understand where you're coming from if you don't want to support the Shonen Jump thing, or you do want to support it, but you can't because it's region block. I understand that's the case. So I want to say that I have been messing around with the Shonen Jump, the brand new Shonen Jump, and I gotta give them a huge credit. They did a really fantastic job on it. There's still issues they had to iron out, but I'll get to that. So let's go with the pros. The pros is that they do it by schedule base. So when Japan releases the official issues, the officials releases for each of the series, such as The Promised Neverland, My Hero Academia, One Piece, whatever the weekly Shonen Jump series is in there, they will come out like its own format. They will come out individually. They used to come out in an issue form, but now they're coming in individually. And I thought that's pretty neat. It's kind of like the whole things that we have been doing, the piracy way. I know it's not encouraging to say like that. Very proud. I'm not proud of it, but it's one of the case of like, what choice do we have when you don't have when you're reaching block, But I can understand that. It kind of reminds me like their own style, and it's pretty obvious they are very aware and they acknowledge on the whole sources like manga stream, manga here, manga decks, and so on. I can understand that's the case. That's the way they think themselves. That's actually a pretty good format. So that's what Shonen Jump is doing. They're doing their own manga server, which is fine, and that's pretty cool. And it's more series they added in. They added in Jujutsu, Kaisen, Act Age, and those two series. I'm following them right now. I thought Act Age, especially Act Age, is one of the better series that's out there. And really, I really wanted to follow so much. And I was the only guy. Okay, I'm not. I'm kidding when I say that, but I was among the very few that thought Act Age is going to survive. And people bet on Boozleby or however you say it. And look what happened. Bozobi is gone, right? Or is that what it's called? Bozobi? I feel like I'm mispronouncing that name. But Act Age was like, hey, that series looks super promising. And I like the first three chapter. Then somebody scanned later for like up to eight chapter. And I'm like, okay, there's some things I'm really liking. But is anyone going to support? It wasn't any support for a short bit. And then when it did, I started to like the series so much. I mean, I would love to review it too. I would love to discuss with anybody who read the series. But my point is, it was so hard when Shonen Jump didn't want it to scanlate anymore because they wanted to get the one that's like the most talked about or the most popular one. I remember they brought Red Sprite and then it got canceled. So it's like, wow, you brought that in and it got canceled. I mean, nobody can predict, but still, you should have tried to give a little other chance. It seems like to me they're more passionate about actually translating the series. Actually, like, hey, we break this up. Maybe we should continue on. I don't know. Maybe it's only the first three chapters again for a lot of things. We gotta see what those three brand new series that came out for Weekly Shonen Jump. Let's see how they last. But nevertheless, it's great that they brought it back, the series. They went back and decided to start translating them. The only funny thing about it, I guess this is one of the cons. The only funny thing about it is they decided to translate the chapters that's recently out in Japan. That's fine. But whatever the series they didn't do beforehand, like Act Age, for example, like again, they stopped at chapter 3. So they decided to start translating around 40 something, and they do that, but they don't bother to translate the previous chapters. So in other words, they pretty much wanted to throw out there so you have no reason to go after the fan translation, the piracy style translator. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to discourage you, and I get that, but ironically, I do want the fan translation in order to try to catch up to that. So that part bugs me when they do this stuff like that. And from what I heard from the podcast of theirs, they say that I believe I know. I think it was just Haikyuu and Kimetsu. I could be wrong, but supposedly those two series are not going to have any backlog, so you cannot actually catch up to the recent chapter. That's hard for a lot of people that wants to start, get into it. I mean, can you imagine? Oh man, this Haikyuu game is crazy. Oh wait, it skips like 50 chapters. Oh, well, who they playing now? Wait, who's this? Oh, who? What? Wait, what happened to my game? I was into the game that Karasuno was at. What happened to everyone else? It's mind-boggling. But I get it. But again, they know what the fans have been doing for a while. So if that's the case, then that means they're trying to distract us. It can't work. It's just kind of funny how they acknowledge it in that sort of sense, especially the fact that the Haikyuu one is the most obvious one. Because again, why no backlog? Because that means you are self-aware that you have been reading the series from other sources. So it's kind of a strange way to do it. But again, Shonen Jump is a mainstream marketing thing. So that means a lot of people that's new to the manga world will be confused and will don't understand why there's so many missing pages. I know they say that the volumes when the volume are released, they're gonna be the one to cover the backlog. I get that. still, the beginning is just still head scratching. But aside from that, there is a pro to it, and the fact is, Shonen Jump can allow you to look at all the volumes, all the chapters that they have in their system, and that's awesome because I have yet to read World Trigger. I want to read that. I have been recommended by my friend, and he, talked about a bit, and then hearing the news that it came back, yeah, it's going to Jump Giga, but the fact that it came back is better than nothing. And a lot of fans were so hyped, were so happy about it, especially in Japan. You could not believe how much it trended. So I wanted to read it. And they did that one moment. I think they have like 100 chapters all the way up to the end of October. And then once October finished, well, better luck next time. So I wanted to read that. But the fact now that you could actually have the catalog of 10,000 chapters from all across the series. Not every series have that, but we'll get to that soon. But the fact that you could actually go back and read them, that's awesome. That's Netflix style. That's incredible. I like that. And it works well. And you can download them. You have a 7 days to hold them, and then when the 7 day pass, it will delete them. But you can re-download them. But it's like Spotify, where you could go offline, but you have to go back online in 30 days. But in this case, it's not about online, offline. It's about like the download, which is fine because it's like, oh, my iPhone, it has too much storage. It's too full. And then, maybe it will help you and when it could delete all of them. And even if you don't download them, you could actually stream the chapters. And they're actually pretty good. I have tested them. I thought it was slow at first. It might be slow when you try and use LTE, 4G, whatever the speed that you use to cellular data. But in Wi-Fi, especially a really good Wi-Fi at home, like 100, maybe even 50, whatever. I'm not sure what's the highest these days. Probably, actually have 200 or plus, so I don't even know anymore. But the point is, if you have those speed, it's fine. It's actually pretty good. So you could read them seamless. And application wise, it's really good. Like, it's still the best way to read them. But I will give them a huge credit for the online one, which I'll get to that very soon. But the bottom line is, you get all the catalog from tons of series. World Trigger, Promise Neverland. If you want to start reading them from the ground from the very beginning, you can do that. Especially the one they have been following in their weekly Shonen Jump issue style. So that's awesome. I like that. It motivated me to start reading World Trigger. It motivated me to read more manga. And I'm a subscriber all the way to 2019. And they carry over. So once 2019 December hits, it would start charging me for 2 months. $2 per month. Which, by the way, that's a steal. $2 per month, you get 10,000 manga materials. It's actually pretty damn good. Again, I'm trying not to force you to buy this or anything like. I'm not being sponsored. I'm not sponsoring this. But you gotta understand the whole premise is actually working well. It's actually nice to have a Netflix for manga. I mean, the only thing is it has to be Shueisha materials. It can't be no. There's no fairy tale. Attack on Titan, Eden Zero, you won't get those. I guess that's one downside. It's like exclusivity, but that's a different story altogether. The point is, we have that option, and it's awesome to have that option. So you get all the catalogs from many, many, many series. Is the whole reading, the reading format is seamless. It's really good. It's really fast. You could find all the other stuff. You could search the series. They got all the series from alphabetical order, numbers included. So you could keep searching them and think which series you want to read. Now, not every series will have all the catalog because it all depends on which one they have already translated. Like, say, like you want to see a catalog for like all those Jumpstart series. Like, oh, we only did 3 chapters and we never really finished them. So don't get too excited because a lot of series not officially translated. It's all about what they have translated, and that's cool still. It's just a little bummer, again, a bummer that You won't get to Haikyuu until the volume release. You won't get the Kimetsu until the volume release. Even the Ag Age. I'm not sure about Ag Age and Jujutsu. I hope both of them actually go back and try to finish translation all the way to the point they started to translate it again. That way, people could be, excited for the series. So people could start reading it and they'll be like, oh, okay, this series is awesome. I want to read it from chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, and so on. Instead of like chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 47 out of nowhere. Like, what is going on? So I'm wishing they do that. I'm wishing they do that. Otherwise, well, time to go online and do some Google searching. Yeah, but I don't think they should encourage them for that. But again, the application itself is really nice. It has a lot of stuff. The online in the computer, Macintosh, whatever you want to call, it's actually pretty good too. Like you could full screen it, you could make a single page, you could double screen it, double page it. So when you do a double page, it looks glorious. Like for example, the recent Kimetsu chapter review, they had a color page. So you could do one page, you just show one page, first half of the color page and second half of the other color page. But you could actually change it into this full screen. You could actually change it into a two page, like a magazine. That breakaway, where how like a lot of magazine is like, oh, when you look at full completely, you always had to bend it really nicely in order to make it look like a one big paper, So when you see it in display, it looks great. It's all top tier quality, and I love that. I love those type of options they give you. Now that we don't have to worry about the weekly Shonen Jump issue style, we don't need to worry about trying to find that page again. I mean, it was great when it was in the mobile device, but in computer, it was such a hassle. That was one of the flaws they had. But now the magazine style is gone in a sense. You don't need to worry about it. But it is really nicely formatted. I thought it was really good. The quality is great. The option is really good. You got a bookmark as well, which is even good. And for their sake, they do advertise at the very end of the volume. At the very end of the chapter, such as like, hey, you like that series. There are similar series that is like that too, like Death Note or something. They try to advertise, but hey, it can work. And again, Shonen Jump is like for the mainstream. It works well for the mainstream. So a lot of options like that is cool. The PC also has the option to follow the series or follow the new updated chapters. So like for me, I keep all of them in tab. Well, majority of them in tab because some series get leaked early, but you can't fight that one. But yeah, they got those type of options. You can follow the series and all that stuff. Now that's the problem for the mobile device, because in the mobile device they don't give you like a format like a bracket. Like they have a different bracket. They got like new series releases, new volume releases. That's fine and all. I wish they have new favorites releases, meaning like whatever you're following, whatever your favorite is, those are the ones that should get notified. Those are the ones that should have his own bracket that says like, hey, I'm following One Piece, Kimetsu, Province Neverland. I want to see those three if they have a brand new chapter out. And they will tell you the date, which they do have a date, which is cool. But again, I wish they have that bracket for both PC and mobile, especially mobile. Mobile is much needed. Maybe they will have that feedback. Maybe they're asking people for feedback and probably, hopefully, add that kind of feature. That's just me personally. But I think that will make everything such a sublime way to navigate. And if they can do that, it would be great. It would be hard to go back to other applications. Now, granted, there is one application that I really like too. But the way how Shonen Jump has done is really good. It's really awesome. And you kind of wish all the series in the world would be that, no licensing issues, no, all that complication stuff. But that's just the way it is. Point is, I have a lot of things great and just a few flaws to fix, especially the following the series part. So I wish they kind of have that in its own section. For mobile device, I wish it has a notification pop up. So say like if it hits 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, like if it just have a notification like pop up like, hey, new chapter from My Hero came out. Like, oh, cool. Read, that would be great. I hope they do something like that because not a lot of applications can tell you there's a new thing like that. Same thing for Crunchyroll. I'm like, I wish Crunchyroll would tell me, hey, new episode for Slime is out. Like, oh, awesome. Instead of like, is it here yet? No. Here yet? No. That's my life in a nutshell. I'm like, damn it, where the hell is the new episode? It's like it came out in Japan and 2 hours ago. Where the hell is translated? And then instead I get like a different anime that's really legitimately bad. It gets translated first, then the series that's legitimately good. I mean, yeah, it's opinion, but oh, trust me. Trust me, one of them is not good. Ah, but yeah. Shonen Jump, hell of a job, hell of an effort. So still few things to fix up, but it's minor. And if they fix it up, we got ourselves a hell of a application. It still sucks that some countries don't have this. I can understand that. I can respect that. And I'm hoping they start going worldwide. And if they do that, they can actually pose a threat to all those other things that we have been doing for a long, long time. Yeah, they're not gonna go away, but at least this type of options not only benefits for those who wants to see official translation, official quality of his releases, but also spread the word to all the mainstream audience and get them hooked to manga. Show them why we enjoy manga. So let's talk about Jump Festa 2018. It's the extravaganza event. It is the E3 for Shonen Jump fans. All the goodness stuff, such as the announcements, such as the preview, goodies, all tons of great stuff from the Jump series. And it's all in this weekend. Oh yeah, everybody's having a good time. I wish to attend one day, and maybe it'll be next year, maybe the other year. I don't know. Anything can happen. I have a lot of opportunity to go to Japan, but maybe I just have too much priority at this city. I don't know why, but one day I will definitely make a trip to Japan, do a lot of fun things, fun materials, not just even anime and manga based, just anything in general, because I'm always interested in the country itself. But yeah, I would like to attend many events, including Jump Festa. Whatever the requirement is, I will try to do the best I can to get into attend one. So nevertheless, let's talk about Jump Festa 2018. I'm going to separate the My Hero, Kimetsu, and of course, what I thought is the best announcement, which maybe I should just save at the end, but you should know what I'm talking about. So yeah, I'm going to break them up into this own category. And for this one, I'm just going to talk about like a montage of other stuff that happens here. Now, I'll be honest right now. Promise Neverland, it does look really good. I remember reading the first chapter, and it looks really promising. No pun intended. No pun intended, even though I did say a long time ago, hey, when I thought about Promise Neverland, I thought it was promising. It's too easy. But seriously, I was so happy that it was another series that I put my bet on. This is where Red Sprite came in. They decided to go over Red Sprite. Translated, people are actually more hype of Red Sprite. Some people say it was much better than Promise Neverland. Even though it was so early on, it's like, first of all, I know they're shonen, but still, they kind of are a separate entity, like a separate style. I don't know. Is everybody really want to compare to them because they're just shonen or just because they're in the same magazine? It's like comparing to We Never Learn against, I don't know, One Piece. Yeah, maybe the comedy, sure, or maybe the edgy. I don't even know. Point is, why would we compare? It's ridiculous. Oh, because it's shonen. So what? So anyway, Red Sprite, that got canceled. Promise Neverland didn't get canceled. Oh no, it's getting an anime. Sure got tons of damn awards, but understandably so. With that said, I have yet to read this series. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not like, oh, I'm against this series. Oh, I don't want this series. I hate this series. I hate when people like popular things. No. It's not like that. It was funny. The funny story is, long time ago, I was supposed to read this series and then make an impression video. So in my YouTube channel here. So that never came about. That's the stupid part of my end. But hey, going back to Shonen Jump, They have all the chapters there, and I can read them now. So I'm super hyped. Yeah. But one day, I'm gonna play roulette and see which series I'm gonna read first before I read anything else. But yeah, Promise Neverland. Again, look at the first PV. Well, not the first PV, but the newest PV. It looks really promising. No pun intended again, because it really captures the atmosphere. It captures what I remember when I first see the episode or first read the chapter, where it has that the questionable atmosphere, the questionable environment, the questionable of everything. Like it gives you that impression, like it feels like it's nice. It feels like it'll be a slice of life, which I'll be fine. But something feels very off. Something feels odd about this, you know? I like that kind of feeling. Actually, I don't think it's a PV. I think it was an actual episode clip. It was a sneak preview, and it was really good. Again, it has a lot of factor that they really put attention to detail that I really enjoyed the first chapter. And it's something that I think a lot of people will get into, will get engaged, especially if people don't get spoiled by summary, synopsis, or anything like that, because the thrills and chills that the first chapter brought is not knowing what exactly are you dealing with. And then when you see the reveal, it makes you head scratch, but in a good way. Head scratch as like, what just happened? I'm dumbfounded. I want to see the next episode. That's what it did for me with Promise Neverland. I want to see the next chapter. I want to read the third one, the fourth one, which I stopped at. But then I want to read more. And supposedly the first arc was phenomenal. I don't know about the other arc, but what I know is the first arc is so phenomenal. It got them a lot of awards, and I can understand why. Because again, the first four cover chapters, even though you could say it's a slow part, I see a lot of potential, and they probably have utilized completely by the end of this arc, at least, or that arc that I stopped at. I know there's like a couple of arcs, I guess, and supposedly the manga is at the final arc. If that's true, which I think it is, then hey, at least it's gonna end without being stretched out to be like, hey, I'm too popular, I should not end right now. But granted, it might last all the way to 2020, but who knows? Point is, Promise Neverland looks really interesting. It looks promising. I want to read it. I want to watch this first episode, and I cannot wait to get into the series. Dr. Stone. Now, many trying to guess who is going to take care of Dr. Stone, or more like what studio is going to take care of Dr. Stone. Some people felt like they were disappointed because it's revealed to be TMS Entertainment. Those guys are good. I like them. I mean, they got their hits and miss at times. I mean, maybe some people probably think about the Gray Man Hollow. I don't know. I mean, I still enjoyed it because the content was pretty cool. But yeah, the animation could have done better. But yeah, maybe that's why. But you look at Megalobox, I think that's how you say it. I hope I said that right. If you look at that, that's pretty good in terms of the animation and style. I mean, when TMS can be hit and miss at times, more of hit to my recollection. I hope Dr. Stone will be like the case. But if you go by the teaser, it does look like it's capturing the atmosphere, or more like the art style. I mean, of course, the art is not going to be top. I could already imagine that, but it captured the style in a way. So it's at good hands, in my opinion. I the first impression gives me hope. It didn't give me like, oh man, I think it's not gonna go well. Why he's gotta be dumb? Like it's not like Hinomaru, Sumo. It's not like that. Gonzo. It's like, oh, red flag much? But no, but seriously, like Dr. Stone looks promising. I think they're gonna do good. I don't think it's gonna be bad. I mean, it's up to July. We got a lot of time. Maybe they will do a lot of good things justice. I just hope they capture all the reactions well. Because Dr. Stone is really, really charming series in a funny sense of way. Because it's like, if you ever read the series, I recommend you should read the series. Because it's not only is funny, but there's a lot of clever moments. There's a lot of good jokes. There's a lot of good comedic effects. But more importantly, when it gets to like the moments where it's actually heartfelt, it really does feel heartfelt. And I don't know why those guys, I won't point out where, but I don't know why those guys are kind of like a haters to the series. I don't know. I mean, I know to each of their own, to each their own. I get it, but what did it do to you? You know, like why you gotta hate something that's good? And it's funny because some of them is like, well, the sales is not doing that good, and it's like, yeah, well, I guess sales determines quality these days. Cool, cool, cool. No, it doesn't. It never does. So I don't know why people are talking that way, but whatever. To each their own. Point is, Dr. Stone, the anime, it can be really good. All I know is it's not the end of the world. It's not like we saw period. If we saw period, then we're freaking screwed. We would have Tokyo Ghoul. God. Oh. Next subject. The funniest announcement I ever seen. Now, if you're a guy that was hoping for Bleach new season, the final season, the season to end it all, the season to please the Bleach fans for good. When you really think about it, even though it's only for the Bleach fans, even though they could be say the same for Dragon Ball, even though they got way better chance than Bleach, which is messed up to say, but that's the fact. Okay, maybe it's not the fact, but that's the way I see it. I see it that Dragon Ball fans has a better shot to get more stuff, material that pleases them over Bleach. I mean, Bleach got the Brave Souls. That's cool. But it seems like Dragon Ball always get a better treatment in terms of getting more movies, getting more merchandise, get their super Dragon Ball Heroes specials, all the other stuff. So it's like they get more priority. So I don't know why Dragon Ball fans are upset for the no lack of announcement, but I guess we'll get to that very soon. But the best announcement that ever happened at Jump Festa 2018 is I'm From Japan. It's getting an anime adaptation. That's right. A series that barely has 20 chapters. I think it's only had 16 chapters by this point. They managed to get an anime. They get an anime. And it's not an OVA. It's not a movie. If you get a movie, oh my God, what? It's not a movie. It's a TV anime adaptation. Full length. From what I was told. But maybe it could be 10 minutes or 3 minutes. I don't think it'll be 3 minutes. Maybe 10 minutes. But still, a TV anime adaptation. A series that's under 20 chapters. Psyche couldn't even do that. They gotta wait until they were so close to the end of their run. What? Look, if you're a fan of the series, that's cool. That's great for you. I'm not bashing the series. I'm laughing at the fact that this announcement came out of nowhere. Nobody would have guessed it. I didn't guess it. I cannot even guess it at all. And then you just got it announced just like that. It beat Word Trigger for being the earliest, to my recollection, to be the earliest announced with the lowest chapter count. This one has 15, 16, I don't know. The fact that a lot of series have to wait at least 2 years to get an announcement. But I'm From Japan, managed to get an anime. I guess that tells me one thing. It's certainly not getting canceled. Maybe it will get canceled after the anime is done. I don't know. But I guess that tells me the anime, the fans like it more than David Kun, which is kind of funny it's funny because I started to like David now. Actually, I don't started to. I like it now. I don't know how that happened. Actually, I do know what happened, but maybe one time I write a new post saying like, this is what happens when first impression is not the best impression. But I'm From Japan. Only got to read 3 chapters. Why? Because a lot of other places don't have translator. In other words, they don't have that many support because maybe they don't like the series. Maybe they find it unwelcoming. I don't know. I mean, like, again, when I read the series, I thought it was kind of neat in the beginning because, hey, you're using a lot of Japan reference to your world. That's kind of cool. Second chapter, I never got to talk about it, but second chapter, it's not that bad, but I kind of feel like that new character is such a distraction. I don't know. Something about the new character just doesn't feel right to fit in with this. I mean, it feels right, but at the same time, it doesn't feel right. I don't know. It's just too much of a throw off of of charismatic. I don't know. It's just a weird feeling. It's not like with David, like they introduced Mona Lisa in a clever way. They introduced the other materials that's based on the art, based on the references of other different. It's clever. It got clever because I thought the first chapter was not that well, not that good. But later on, it started to grow on me, and the way how they use the reference is actually much clever than what I initially thought they would be limited to. But I'm from Japan. I mean, it's all Japan based. That's kind of cool. It's just the way how they done it for the past three chapter. Well, the only three chapter I only got to read. It was all right. It's coming out in April. TV anime adaptation. Well, nobody saw that coming. God knows that people the community I gone through, nobody saw that coming. Huh. Oh, so there's some few previews and other things. I'll discuss the one that I just mentioned when I separated them. There's no real news for Dragon Ball fans, except that Akira Toriyama did say that he's working on the next material. He didn't say he's gonna work on the next movie. Well, that would be amazing. That would be awesome. Depending how great the Brawly movie is, which I heard is excellent. I heard it's like the best Dragon Ball movie ever. The best thing that ever happened to Dragon Ball in general. Next to the final episode of Dragon Ball Super, where it was live, aired in like some studio, some stadium, the thing that happened in Mexico, which was awesome. I would love to be there, but we USA can do something interesting like that. Okay, I'm kidding, but still, here's a funny story. First translation, it was said that Dragon Ball Toriyama was going to work on the next movie or another work that's really Dragon Ball related. It's more or less a mistranslated, or more like it's translated to the fact that it made it seem like he's working on a new movie or a new Dragon Ball material. He only say he's working on his next work in general. So it could be maybe like another spin-off, another manga series, another shorts, anything like that. Now, it's still possible that Dragon Ball Super will make a return, especially when the worldwide release happens. Oh, we're going to make that into $1 million. We're going to make that into like the #1 box office. And that one is only getting a limited screening still. Not as limited as you can say many other series, even Mirai movie that just recently came out. Not even like that kind of release, but it's gonna be like nearly close to theatrical release, like close to that theatrical worldwide release, where it got like over 500, not even like thousands. I don't know how. Basically, think as like Bumblebee or Spider-Verse. I don't think it's gonna have that much screening, but it's gonna have crap load of screening for something that's limited or something that's like pretty much breaking the barrier of a limited screening, because Dragon Ball is that popular. I mean, you go Times Square, you can see the billboard. You go Subway, you can see the ads. This is not a joke. I see it myself. I should have took those pictures, but this is true. This is actually true. Undoubtedly, it's popular as hell. But that means when there's no big news, good news, people are going to be upset really fast. And the people will go out of their way calling the worst Jump Festa 2018. Well, that makes no sense. I meant to say the worst Jump Festa ever, which is baffling because I thought this Jump Festa was actually neat. I wasn't there. I mean, I'm talking to you guys in New York City. What does that tell you? But again, calling it worse just because you didn't get the announcement that you really desired, that's a bit selfish. But I get it. I get that people really are super hyped, no pun intended, are super hyped. Because after Brawly releases, well, it's going to be released to worldwide for very soon. I cannot wait. I'm going to get my ticket soon. If it's sold out, then that's stupid of me of not getting a damn ticket. But yeah, I can understand a lot of people really want to see announcement of Dragon Ball Super. And I do believe it's going to come back. I just don't think it needs to announce on Jump Festa. Maybe it could announce any other time. Hey, I actually theorized that maybe they will show a special announcement after a Brawly movie. It didn't happen, but hey, you never know. Maybe it'll happen in the worldwide version. Wouldn't that be amazing? But yeah, it's not the end of the world. It could be announced any other time. You never know. It could be like, oh, announced after the Brawly credits. Cool. Or it could be announced any other way. Oh, I'm still surprised that Dragon Ball Super announcement happened. I remember when it was announced. It was trending worldwide. I felt like my childhood just revived. I think I made a podcast episode out of that. That's how shocking it was. So season 2, I don't think it needs an event of another place. It could have its own event to announce it. Like every other series that'd be doing that. So why not Dragon Ball? Dragon Ball is a huge, huge franchise. So don't worry. It will come. A big announcement will come. Dragon Ball Super Season 2, something related to Dragon Ball. It doesn't have to be Jump Festa. But now, I cannot say the same thing for Bleach fans. I feel bad for them. Honestly, I feel bad for them. I'm no Bleach fans, but I wouldn't mind to have a Bleach final season. And these guys are getting nothing. I'm not getting lucky with them. They get Brave Souls. That's cool. But it just teases them further how much they cannot get a new season. Hell, I don't even know. Because, Period, it's not exactly the best. I mean, maybe if you give a Period at their prime level, not asking to do the latest Black Clover episode style all day, every day. That'll be awesome, but come on, that's a lot of budgets, time, everything. You know how that works. But back in my recollection, Bleach anime was really enjoyable. It was really good. Yeah, it might be inconsistent art or animation, whatever, but I don't have that big of a memory, and that's a good thing. Because that goes to show you that was probably a minor flaw. It's not like the current time. Yeah, I know Tokyo Ghoul Re is being handled by someone else under Studio Period name, but still, you don't have to treat it like that, Now, either way, let's just pretend if Bleach final season does come back and it under the same staff, which is doing Boruto right now. If it's under the same staff, then I think we have a good luck in our hand. I think we will be lucky. I think the fans will be hyped. We'll be excited to see what happens. Even if, my opinion opinion says, hey, final season materials kind of suck. I'm sorry. Okay. Again, it's an opinion. It's an opinion. Don't kill me. Don't kill me. It's just an opinion. My point stands that even though you may think this final arc sucked, you may think the final arc is not all that, or you might think the complete opposite. The point is, you just want the final season. Maybe it will do something awesome. Maybe it will change something good. Just anything. It's just a final season. It's just one more season. And it's a big property. They released that Bleach Jet thing, the art book, pretty much. And hey, it costs a crap load of money, but people buy them. There are fans for them. Why not give them one more Bleach season? What's wrong with Bleach? Is Bleach cursed? Is Bleach really that much of a downfall of his own heydays? I don't think so. I mean, yeah, it's a downfall, but I don't think it's worth to be ignored. I don't think it's worth to say, you think that's a hot material, but guess what? We don't think that. But there's a lot of fans for it. Wester, even Easter. So why not bring them one more time? The anime season. I don't know when it will ever happen, but you got to keep on praying, I guess. I just feel bad, honestly. I think they deserve one more season. They deserve a break. They need just one more season. It doesn't hurt. You never know. You never know, Perry. You could get more money out of the people with that season. But yeah, it's basically Half-Life 3. Another year of no Bleach announcement. Granted, you could still announce it in the mid-year, or you could announce any other time of next year. Right now, the chances is much slimmer than Dragon Ball. And if they can surprise me, then so be it. I would love to be surprised. But in the meantime, I don't know. I'm just gonna just move forward, and whatever happens, happens. So let's talk about My Hero Academia Season 4. Before we talk about the Jump Festa PV, which is more of a showcase of what the next arc is going to take place. Because, well, if you're a manga reader, you would know what's going to happen. But this is for the anime fans, and they would know what to expect for the next season. Not exactly, but what to expect in terms of the key characters, what's going to happen, and something that's going to involve with Deku. And, for what it is, it does its job. But let's talk about the season 4 itself. Let's talk about the release date. Now, before the release date was announced, a lot of people already speculated it's going to air in spring 2019 because every other one aired in spring season. And that's understandable to think that's going to be the case. Unfortunately, things get mixed up when they find out that Mix, a new anime debut, is going to happen in spring 2019 under the exact same time slot. Now, before that happened, before everybody sees the announcement, everybody starts to think maybe My Hero Academia will change its time slot. Maybe they will go back to what season 1 was in, whatever that was. But all I know is the time slot for season 2 and 3 is very crucial because it is a popular slot that a lot of people tune in to watch. That's why you have good ratings for Time Boken, I think that's what it's called, or Phoenix Wright at the moment, because they're like right in the time slot that everybody can see. And I think it's a time slot for a lot of kids can watch. So it really depends on it. It really matters to many people in terms of rating at the very least. Which is one of the reasons why My Hero Academia starts to boom at season 2. Of course, that's not the only reason. We know the quality and all that crazy stuff that happens in the arcs. We know that's the reason as well. But what I'm saying is, the time slot does boost the popularity, and season 1 didn't really exactly go off the air, go crazy amount of hype. Season 2 did that, and they had to wait a year to make it boom. Of course, the popularity won't just go skyrocket at the first glance, but you see a lot of series that gets a huge skyrocket boost of popularity even during the first run. It may not happen in the first 4 episodes, but it can happen like around 8 and 9. It just happens. Like, you see a lot of series that does this in Japan, especially idols, but the idols don't really count too much, maybe in my opinion. But the ones that's like, hey, I don't know about this, but I like the activity they do, such as camping in wintertime and stuff like that. Something like that will get them excited and interested. So with My Hero Academia, when they went to season 2 time slot, they boom a lot. And for us, it boom a lot more when we see the content is really exciting now. And same thing for season 3. I mean, of course, I will argue about the latter half, but, that's an opinion itself. Bottom line is, everybody thinks that season 4 is going to change the time slot because Mix not only is going to air in that time slot in spring 2019, but it also going to last for 2 core, meaning spring and summer. So what's the solution? Or more like, what is the real case behind season 4 timing? Well, it turns out it is going to be released in October of 2019, meaning it is a fall season anime. So yes, that is the news. And a lot of people think that's not so bad because at least it gives the animators a lot of time to polish it up. And that's fine at all. I just hope it doesn't affect too much when it comes to like, oh crap, we come too late. I think Attack on Titan got that little effect, but it seems like they bounced back just now. I mean, of course, the Blu-ray DVD sales isn't exactly like the first time, but I think they did bounce back and better than I expected, much better than I expected, the way I see it. But again, you can't wait too long, right? So with My Hero Academia, they are going to stick by with the same time slot, only they're going to come out much later. Will there be effect to the popularity? I don't think so, honestly. Maybe in Japan, the TV rating wise, but I don't think the popularity overall in the worldwide, or at least just us America and Japan, won't be that effective. I don't know. That's just the way I see it. I'll be a little bit surprised if it does be heavily affected, but I don't think that's the case. Because they are marketing a lot still for the series. They're marketing through the stage play, what they're gonna have next year. They're going to, supposedly there's gonna be airing the older season in some other time slot. So it gets you keep it up to date with the series, and it gets you on hype, remains your hype stay steady. So in order for you to be like excited for season 4 to come. Yeah, so season 4 is coming in fall 2019 instead. And I just say, well, my disappointment will be saved for later. So I'm happy for that. So I know that sounds evil. I know that sounds mean, especially if we gonna take consider to this PC realm. Well, a lot of people probably think I'm the worst person of all time at this point. But I'm not saying that you should not enjoy season 4. I'm not saying that. But I do know that season 4 contains the materials that actually destroy my enjoyment for this series. And it hasn't really recovered yet. I'm not saying after that everything is just really bad. I mean, aside from the latest arc in the manga, but I won't go here. I won't go to spoiler realm. Don't worry, I won't go into spoiler realm. All I'm saying is the stuff that happens in season 4 is something that I would say I'm more interested to see the reactions of the fans, more so interested to see the anime content. And when I say by reaction, I don't mean like, oh, you're going to be surprised when you see this crazy twist. More like, I really wonder how you take this in. It's kind of like how some people were expected to see the reactions on one of the pairing in one anime I won't name because if I name it and you've never seen it, it'd be my fault for spoiling. But there is an anime. It has a very NTR route, meaning you thought that pairing will happen, but it just changed it to elsewhere because reasons unknown. There's the anime they did that, and the reaction was not pleasing. So, yeah, that's the one. That's where I'm at. That's the stance I'm at right now. Like, I'm interested to see where the fans take this in. Like, will they see it like the glorious thing that ever happened to My Hero Academia franchise? Or they will see just a normal, casual, all right, well, that's kind of bad or that's kind of cool, you know, or it could be like me, just, oh man, what a disaster, you know? I'm not saying the series is going to go downhill. I'm not going to even say like, oh, we're going to expect the rise and fall of My Hero Academia. Stuff like that is more of like, not just the quality, but it has to be the popularity as well. Kind of like Bleach, with all due respect. Bleach is an example for many fans to say how to diminish your popularity and your quality at the exact same time. Because it was big. It was huge. And then people start to believe now it just downgraded so significantly, like half the fan base just disappeared. I can't say that's true, but this is how they see it. They made a video about like how it falls down, how it went under the roof. You know, you could try to say the same thing for other series, but it's not as loud as Bleach. Mainly because Bleach has just had a higher popularity count. But with My Hero Academia, I'm not saying it's gonna go downhill. I don't wish ill for any series, honestly speaking. I mean, I know you probably hear me talk about that a long time ago, but not with this series, like other series like Boruto. You probably hear me saying something like that, like, oh, go downhill. But that was just me being ignorant, and I was just young back then. So when you start to learn or start to understand everything or, you know, take things matter more serious in a ironic way, I guess you could say, because, you know, you would take it serious for wishing somebody go downhill, right? I mean, not a person, unless I don't wish ill for nobody. I don't do that. I don't have any grudge on a person. I mean, I'll be like critiquing, like, oh man, that was a bad ride right there. But you don't hear me saying, like, well, I hope you have a bad accident. Why would I want that? Why would I wish for that? I don't wish ill for anyone. Maybe on the people who's like, you know, evil, like pure evil inside, like terrorism and all that stuff. But point is, I don't wish anything bad. All I'm saying is that this is the point in season 4 where my joy was really messed up. And you could see my reviews. If you watch the reviews back all the way in the beginning of My Hero Academia chapters, you will hear me talking about like with enthusiasm. Like I was excited for something. Even though that arc was pretty slow and pretty not exciting, but I was still thrilled about what's coming next, which is season 4 would cover. And when everything happened, my tone changed. My tone changed into like, wow, what happened? You know? So all I'm saying is season 4 should be exciting for many fans, should be interesting for me to see the reactions, even if it's for the wrong reason. And yeah, at least we get season 4 and falls 2019. So If it's true about polishing up, at least that would be cool for flashy moments. But other than that, I got not much to say. I already know what the manga happened. Here's to fall 2019 for more My Hero Academia. So let's talk about Kimetsu no Yaiba anime PV that was released in Jump Festa 2018. This is not the very first one. The first one happened a long time ago, but this is the one that we all been waiting for, or at least I've been waiting for. And when I say we, I'm talking about the fan. There are people that don't know about the series that much because, well, it's just not popularized. It's just not popular at all. I'm looking at like myanimelist.com. I'm looking at other places. It's just not that many fan base for it. Will it skyrocket when the anime happens? Hey, you never know. From what I saw from this anime PV, I gotta say, it looks very promising. It looks everything I wanted to have. I know it's done by Affordable. How you say that company name? I'm so sorry. I know it's behind Fate Stay's series. I know that. And they are known to have wonderful animation, even though they use CG, but they're using CG in a good way. And the way how they choreograph is actually pretty damn phenomenal. And a lot of people don't really rate it too high because they'd rather have those hand draws that you see from Bone Studios or anything other movies, which I understand. You could kind of say like, this is like the Your Name kind of animation quality, not the Mirai quality. I can't really describe it, but the point is, the way I see it is like, hey, you got My Hero Academia with Bone Studio doing like some, like, it's like a Battlefield engine. I'm talking about video game logic right here. It's like a Battlefield, like you see like cool moments, like, man, look at the animation, explosion and all that stuff. But the way I see Kimetsu no Yaiba, it's like watching The Last of Us. It's like maybe the graphic or the engine isn't like as crazy as Battlefield, but the way how they utilize the body language, the movement, the expressions, the way how their body language speaks up, it has a lot of meaning. And that's what's great about that series. It's the reason why I started reading the series and start reviewing, because it has such a great foundation on its use of character emotions, character thoughts, everything about it is very expressive and is very engaging. If you haven't read it yet, I encourage you to try to read it. Yeah, I know talking about the Shounen Jump, you only got 25 chapters and it skips all the way to 139. Something like that. It's kind of mind-boggling, but I know what they're trying to do. Point is, if you can find a way to start reading them, you should read them. You should get the volumes. I got the volumes. I usually wait to 150 chapters before I start buying the volumes. Why? It's because I want to get that reassurance that like this series is gonna last long. This series is gonna last its quality long. And a lot of series does fail me. My Hero is an example of it because I almost wanted to buy all the volumes until that damn arc that's going to happen in season 4 happened. That's the reason why I haven't started collecting them. I'm waiting for a sign. I'm not discouraging. She's like, hey, if you're not gonna buy the volumes, how could you? But a lot of people can do that. It's kind of like voting. You don't need my vote. You don't need me. So if you could vote, see, now I'm saying vote. If you can buy the volume, go for it. For Kimetsu no Yaiba, I know it's not popular, but I encourage you to try to get some source to read it. Whether it's online, a library, anywhere. Just read that series. But let me talk about the anime PV. What makes it so great is because one, the soundtrack sounds beautiful. Soundtrack sounds heavily engaging. I don't know when that's going to play. Hell, I don't mind playing the very first episode because we know what happens in the first chapter. I'm not going to say it here. Stuff that happens in the first chapter gives you everything you need to know what the series is going to be at stake. It won't be as charming and delightful. It will be emotional, but it will be very deadly. The deadly as a shonen series can get. Well, maybe not like Attack on Titan deadly, but it will get deadly in a very grounded level. In its own grounded level, that is. So when you see it, you get the right amount of tension. Like you see the protagonist carrying his sister, all scared, not in the wondrous wood. It's like, holy crap, what is happening here? But like the way how they body move language, the way how it tells you like how much fear he's going through in his head. And it makes it better if you watch the first episode. That is, if it is faithful to the manga source. But when you see it yourself, you're gonna be like, wow, I want to see the next episode. Now, I'll be honest, it is gonna start slow because the manga is gonna go over the lore, it's gonna go over the world building and stuff like that. Especially they're gonna introduce many characters. But when you're engaged with these characters, and then when the series starts kicking to high gear, that's when you will be exhilarated. Trust me, it's worth it. Same thing with One Piece. It happens with One Piece. It happens with Gintama. It happens with Kingdom. But you know what they say? Slow and steady wins the race. For whatever reason, every time when the series starts so fast, like show you every best parts in the early on, whether it's Bleach, even My Hero Academia in some sense, Naruto, whenever they do that, sometimes when they go slow down, they go down hard. It depends if they can rise back up or they can keep it steady. For whatever reason, my experience so far, whenever you go too fast, you go downhill fast. But with this type of series that you just let it build up, it'll make you wait patiently. It takes your patience. But if you can go through that, the reward is satisfying as hell. And this series is no exception. So again, the soundtrack sounds great. The body motion looks really, really good. And I know there might be some 3D, probably like CG with demons. I don't know. As long as carefully blends in perfectly well, then fine. That's awesome. What's awesome is they kept the comedic fashion, especially they use Zenitsu as an example, which is funny when you see how his expression changes, whether it's scared, whether it's trying to act fearsome. And then you have Inosuke, which is that pig mask guy, but I won't go any more further detail. All I want is to be faithful to the manga source, mainly on the pacing, but it has a lot of materials. It has a lot of promises that can make it very popular if it's done right. It can be done right. I know in Japan, it's getting bigger. It's getting bigger. Maybe the anime will boost it even higher. I mean, I don't know it will be very high as My Hero Academia, but it doesn't really need to be. All it needs to do is to showcase that this series exists, and this is why there are fans out there that love this series. They're already getting a figurine. I'm planning to pre-order 2 of them. Like, not the exact same one, but there's 2 of them, the brother and sister. I'm getting them because I really like this series. And trust me, I don't say that much often. I mean, like, I like a lot of series, honestly, but there's always like that caliber, like, oh, the bar is so low, and then you go all the way up there. It's hard to reach up there, you know? But yeah, this series, if you haven't seen the PV, if you're new to the series, check out the PV. You probably find yourself immersed by the music, the animation, the way how the character moves, everything about it. It doesn't have action scenes, but it's good that they don't show it because we're gonna be wowed by it. There are really good choreography in this series. So don't turn your head away from this series. Trust me, you're going to enjoy this when it airs on spring 2019. You know, before closing the podcast, there is one big announcement that happened at Jump Festa 2018. And I thought this one was the biggest announcement, which I'm about to cover very soon. Or you could argue the biggest announcement was I'm From Japan anime adaptation, the shortest run, yet that gets an anime so soon. I still find that amazing. I'm sorry. It's not against I'm From Japan again. I only read the first 3 chapters. It could be hilarious after the 3rd chapter. I don't know. I'm just amazed how it still gets an anime at such a young age. I guess it's popular. I don't know. I'll probably find out very soon with the volume sales, which is going to be next year. Go figure. So anyway, let's just talk about Haikyuu. That's right. Haikyuu Season 4 is confirmed. And I am super hyped. It's crazy how I missed this announcement because it happened during the nighttime. I live in New York City. So around the time I think it was 1 a.m. and I fell asleep. Then I woke up to finding out that, hey, guess who's coming back? Haikyuu. Oh, that's right, it's Haikyuu. And I was like, no way. This gotta be a fake. Maybe as much as fake as I wanted to believe for I'm From Japan anime. But okay, let me stop talking about that, seriously. Haikyuu Season 4 is happening. I know it's something like, oh, you know, you kind of figured out it's going to happen regardless. Yes, that's true. But hearing an announcement and a PV, which, it's just a pretty much a like announcement, like, hey, guess who's coming back kind of way. Just hearing Haikyuu season 4 officially happening is just astounding. It's like heaven has reached to earth and shows you what's amazing again. And that's what Haikyuu is. I always see Haikyuu as a spiritual successor to Slam Dunk. Now, honestly, I don't know if I'm using that term right. What I'm trying to say is, despite the fact it's not basketball, and I'm not here to compare which one is better, is it Haikyuu or Slam Dunk, or, even though the better comparison in a sense is Kuroko no Basket versus Slam Dunk, but that's not my point. It's not my point to compare which is a better series. That's not what I'm here for. What I'm here for is to tell you, Haikyuu, the quality of it is similar to Slam Dunk, or at least it gives me that vibe, the atmosphere, the energy, everything about that makes it great is here. Everything that makes it super enjoyable is here. With Haikyuu Season 4 happening, I cannot wait until the materials that I have seen in the recent chapters to be animated. Because the stuff that happened, let me tell you, if somebody comes to you and say like, oh, you cannot expect this to happen, or you're going to be super hyped. A lot of series has that. And it's funny sometimes when they tell me that or they say it to someone else, and I'm just like chuckling background, like, okay, yeah, you're going to like that part, sure. Kind of stuff like that. I kind of have that for other series. But for Haikyuu, no. When they say stuff like that, it's no exaggeration. Now, of course, it's all opinionated. But if you like the series already, if you really like the series, how it is, what it is, and how it stands for, the stuff that happens in the recent chapters, you're going to be flabbergasted. Your eyes will pop. Your jaws would drop. It's such amazing stuff that's going to happen in Season 4. Because to me, I believe Season 4 is going to cover 2 games, or the 2 big games, especially the last game that people who has read the manga has seen. Stuff like that, see it animated, I would just fate. I would just lose my mind. Okay, I would not do that, but I would seriously just be teary because it was amazing in the manga. I was like, I cannot believe this guy got this so much talent. I don't even know if it's a he or she, but I cannot believe this mangaka can be so talented. And my God, if it does cover it, which I think there's a great chance of it, you're all going to be amazed. I promise you that. If you already like the series, you're going to be amazed what you see. I just know it. Now, of course, I could be wrong because maybe you have different standards, and maybe it's my fault for raising that standards much higher by saying that, including what I promised, damn it. But it's something that still reminds me of Slam Dunk in terms of quality, in terms of how it's written, in terms of the characters. And that's what makes it Haikyuu so special. This is the reason why Season 3 was one of my top anime. I believe it was 2016. Wow, yes, 2 years. Well, I'm going 3 now. But yes, the question is, when is the new season going to come out? Everybody thought it was October 2019. Now, if that was true, that would be my main hype. Screw everything else. Forget the mainstream in terms of America, because Japan really love Haikyuu, but America, I think, is still like in a low-key level. I'm not really sure. It's nowhere near what My Hero Academia is like, That's obvious, super obvious. But that would be my main hype without a second of a doubt. There is nothing touching that series. But let me throw my fanboy away and just say, like, yeah, that would still be my anticipated series. But it has been corrected that we don't know when exactly it's going to happen. We only know that in September of 2019, there will be a special event that will hold out for Haikyuu. I think they will have an early screening. I can be wrong. I most likely am wrong. I would love that, but I think I'm wrong about that one. Point is, that's why it got mistranslated. Even the Shounen Jump editor, I believe himself, actually made a mistake with the translation or got the excitement. I think it was the editor or it was the Shonen Jump Twitter itself. But point is, the official got it mistaken, which is understandable. We all got excited. I got excited when I heard about it. And before you say, but it says Haikyuu new anime. Now, a lot of series does that when they say Haikyuu new anime, this series new anime, whatever other series new anime, and it can translate to new season. It could translate to a movie, which I don't think is going to be a movie. Also, the poster is actually a reflection based on the volume covers. A little alteration, but it is based on the covers. So, of course, once again, it's definitely a new season. It's definitely the next game, the game after that, and so on. And that's what it's about. And that's what's going to be awesome because we know it's going to be new season. The only question remains, when is it going to come out? I don't know. I'm praying it comes out in fall 2019. If it does, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be freaking awesome. I mean, next year is already looking hell of a stack. It's stacking up with a lot of Shonen Jump series, with a lot of returning series, with a lot of new expectations, high expectation. Old fans go back. If we get Dragon Ball Super next year, you have no idea how insane next year will be for entire anime fan base. It's like second coming, you know? It's crazy. But once again, we don't know when Haikyuu is coming out officially. We know that season 4 is officially announced. Let's face it, it's season 4. If it's not season 4, then, well, drop an anvil on me, something. But Haikyuu, new series, new season is happening. When it's happening, don't know. September holds an event. But the good news is we know it's officially happening. And you cannot get any more excited than just seeing an actual preview with an announcement that says, next year, Haikyuu is back. I was going to end with Haikyuu announcement, but then there's one big announcement. Now, there's no shocker like I'm from Japan anime adaptation, but it's more of a, it's about time. I guess you could kind of say the same thing for Haikyuu, but this was announced for quite some time with small previews and what is to expect from this next upcoming work of his. Who I'm talking about? What I'm referring to? Introducing Masashi Kishimoto's Samurai 8, a sci-fi manga. That's right, it is officially happening. It is happening in 2019. That is next year. Not only it will release in 2019, but it will release in spring of 2019. So after so many hints and tidbits, we are finally getting his next work. Now, I don't know if that means it will be a weekly series. It could be monthly series. And before you say, that can't be. You're doing it in weekly Shonen Jump. However, that can be said the same thing for Boruto. Boruto is a monthly series. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that Kishimoto's next work will remain as a monthly series as he planned. But hey, anything could change their mind. So far, everything seems to be consistent. The fact that we're getting a sci-fi. Yes, I know Samurai is an Edo thing, but it's an Edo meets sci-fi settings. So you get cyborgs, robots, and other type of materials that you know from a sci-fi series. So, hey, it's finally happening. I don't know what to expect with the Samurai 8. I know Samurai 8 is pretty much a reference to Samurai 7 or 7 Samurai. I get the pun there, or I get the reference, you know. But hey, I do want to see how this series will work. It's been 4 years since Naruto has ended. Well, it's going to be 5 years soon once we go to the next year. It is possible that maybe if you have doubts on Kishimoto's writing, like his storytelling, his characterization, whatever you have doubts on him, perhaps he has improved a lot for you guys to be pleased. I mean, for me, I thought his writing can be hit and miss. Now, of course, maybe he was exhausted by the end, and I know some person take it the wrong way, saying like, oh, how disrespectful. How could you say like he's only good at art? It's not that I say he's only good at art. He can be good at writing too. What I'm saying is, if I were to say a preference, I would say his art over his writing. Now, of course, 5 years later, anything can change. Maybe he has improved significantly. Yeah, I'm one of those person that doesn't see his writing to be that amazing. There are times where he has a true gem in his hand, and it showed that in Naruto. So maybe I can be wrong. Again, I'm not saying he's awful, he's god awful, or anything like that. I'm willing to give anyone a chance. Now, you may be wondering, why am I talking about the writing? I know it's a manga, but you need to worry about writing and art. Well, here's the thing. This is the shocking part. He's only doing the writing. He is not doing the art. That's kind of funny in a way because it makes you question, what took you so long then? You only writing it. Now, granted, writing is a lot of time consumed. Trust me. I try to do my own story. It takes a lot of time to put in words, to put it in dialogues, to put in a description, anything. Trust me, anything takes time. So on one hand, it's cool that Kishimoto is not doing the drawing, rather than just doing the writing. We can only hope his quality in writing is good. On the other hand, for those who adore his drawing, you won't see it here, which is shameful. And again, we waited 5 years only to find out he's only doing the writing portion, not even the art. If it was the art, it's actually more forgiving for some people, including myself, because I actually do like his art. Granted, the later artwork in the pretty much at the end of the series, it wasn't as pleasing, maybe because it was just too much. Hey, look, this is the outline for the anime. But there are some cool moments. There are some nice lighting and shades and all that other jazz. I thought it was still neat. I preferred like the art that was before part 2, but that's just me. I do like the art regardless. But it is a shame for people that adore his artwork won't be happening here. Now the question is, who is taking care of his drawing? The answer? His other assistant, Akira Okubo. That's right. That's another assistant of him. So on one hand, that is pretty neat that he's giving his drawers, his assistants, a chance to get a spotlight. And this is one of them, a big spotlight, because you got Kishimoto's name on the tag. It's not like with Boruto. The only thing you get a tag is like, oh, he was like a supervisor. So this is one big start for him. So long everything is go well in terms of quality, I think we probably have something really cool. Again, it all based on one man's writing and the other man's drawing. And the drawing art, from what I saw, looks good. It looks good. It looks more closer to Kishimoto's than Ikamoto, who is doing Boruto. I mean, yeah, they both have their own styles, but Akira's one it really looks close to Kishimoto. Now, maybe in the manga pages, it'll be a different story, but the color page, it kind of has that sense of it. But we'll see what happens. All in all, I thought this announcement was long overdue, but hey, I'm willing to give it a chance. If it's a monthly series, cool. If it's a weekly series, cool. If it's a weekly series, it might be a little troublesome for the series that wants to stay longer in the magazine. But time will tell. Bottom line, it's good to see Kishimoto's back for a new work, whether you're a fan or not. But hey, there are definitely a lot of fans that has been waiting for years and years for his next big work, and we could only hope the quality will match up to Naruto's success, if not even more, if that's even possible. Regardless, I am looking forward to it, and when the chapter comes out, I'm definitely going to read and give my first impression. Let's see if it can replicate the success of Naruto. And that will do it for the podcast. I hope you enjoyed this one. This is like a pilot episode, so hopefully I got some things down. Granted, I may have fluttered here and there, and I will work my improvement. It's been a long time talking straight to the mic, just looking at the screen of my recording meter just going down and down and down. I'll be much more prepared next time with much depth details. That way I don't need to go back and forth with my phone or whatever sources I try to find during the recording. I don't want to do that. So I want to give you at my best detail. I wanted to share all the information as best as I can and give you all my opinions as best as I can. If you have any suggestion for what to talk about, what to bring up a topic, what kind of things I should do in the podcast, feel free to leave it in the comment. And remember, it's every Sunday for a new podcast episode. Hopefully I'll keep it up, and hopefully I'll keep continuing to deliver the content and entertainment. If you like this and want more of this, subscribe to my channel, and my world will be yours to stay. Until next time, take care.